In Rivi'i of Parshas Balak, Balak and Bilam have built 7 altars, and they brought up the bulls and the rams, and they're all ready to go. And Bilam is getting ready to curse Am Yisrael, and he opens his mouth, and lo and behold, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings out some of the most beautiful descriptions of Am Yisrael that we find throughout Tanakh, even from some of the biggest Nevi'im and Tzaddikim, so much so that it becomes part of our daily tefillah. It's an incredible thing. So Bilam begins with the following. He says, Ki mirosh tsurim erenu. I see the Bnei Yisrael from the mountaintops, umigvois asherenu, and I look upon them from the hilltops. Hein am levadad yishkoin. They are indeed a nation that dwells in solitude, uvagoyim lo yischashav, and are not counted among the nations of the world. Where do we find that Am Yisrael is distinct from the nations of the world? Where's the earliest source? The Chazal tell us, based on the pasuk, Bereishis b'shvil Yisrael shenikru ureishis. The world was created for the Jewish nation. And another place, Chazal describe it as Yisrael alu b'machshava tchila. Am Yisrael arose first in the divine mind. We are the reason that the world was brought into being. Once Am Yisrael was decided by HaKadosh Baruch Hu that Am Yisrael would be brought into the world, so then Hashem needs a world, and He needs the 70 nations, 35 that descend from Esav, 35 that descend from Yishmael, on either side coming from Avram and Yitzchak. But Yaakov Avinu is the essence of the Jewish nation. Only Yaakov Avinu's children and all of their children after them, for all generations, would be Jewish. Unlike Avram's children and unlike Yitzchak's children, Yaakov is the center point. Yaakov is the essence of Judaism that draws all the way deep at the shirish, at the root of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind, that Hashem thought, so to speak, to create the world to house the Jewish nation. But Am Yisrael are connected to a realm of before creation, and all the nations of the world are connected to a realm of once creation already begins. So then we have the nations of the world who are necessary in the world. Therefore, Hein Am Levadad Yishkoin. Am Yisrael is qualitatively distinct and different. Not just that we dwell in solitude and we have our Torah, obviously we have our unique culture and our unique behaviors and our unique mindset and perspective on the world. It's much more, even more essential than that. At a root level, there's a fundamental distinction between Am Yisrael, who are rooted before creation, and the nations of the world whose entire perception of the world is on the level of after creation. Before creation is Yisrael alu b'machshava tchila. After creation already begins with Avram Avinu, right? Eila told the Shemayim ba'aretz bihi baram, say Chazal, bihi baram is the letters be'Avraham. So the world is created, but that's already on Abraham's level. Abraham and Yitzchak produce Esav and Yishmael. 35 and 35 is the 7 nations of the world. But they have no connection to Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu is the manifestation of that original thought that Hashem had to create the Jewish nation long before the world is created. Therefore, the next pasuk continues, Mi mana afar Yaakov. Who can count the dust of the Jewish nation? Obviously, this is a reference to this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Avram that his descendants would be like the stars in the sky and like the dust of the earth. But on a deeper level, we can understand that afar, that dust, refers to this state where Am Yisrael is in a lowly place, where Am Yisrael are not exactly living up to the most glorious potential, and it's not clear to the world that we're shining, that we're a nation of priests and a kingdom of priests and a nation of holy people. It's not clear. Says the pasuk, says Bilam, in this incredible bracha to Am Yisrael, even though he certainly intended the other way, is mi mana afar Yaakov. Even when they are in a state of afar, even when they are in a state where it seems that they're just like everybody else, that they're lowly and corporeal and physical and material like everybody else in this lowly world, like they're afar, mi mana. Who could imagine their incredible greatness? Because mi mana afar, even when they're afar, Yaakov. They're rooted in this central essence for which the entire world was brought into being. Yaakov Avinu, not Avram, not even Yitzchak or Avram, Yaakov Avinu, for whom Avram and Yitzchak, like the Medrash tell us, were brought into the world. Only Asher Padas Avram Shvasel Yitzchak v'Yamideh Yaakov is just to bring Yaakov into the world. Zacharti es Brisi Yaakov. That comes first. Va'afes brisi Avram, va'afes brisi Yitzchak ezkar. But first Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu is the essence, is the giloi of the pre-creation vision that Hashem had to bring the Jewish nation into the world. And that's mirosh tsurim erenu, migvayis hashrenu, from the highest place, from Hashem's machshava, hein am levad diyishkain. They're essentially different from every other nation in the world, and therefore, mimana, who could imagine the greatness of Am Yisrael, even afar, even when they're in a state of lowliness, because Yaakov, because we're qualitatively different. Let's embrace that, let's live up to it, and let's have the most wonderful day. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow with Hashem's help.